Jake Wilkes, driver number 3, had a machine built for speed. Saul Valencia from California brought his showroom-worthy 1972 Datsun, packing a turbocharged V8, 600 horsepower.
Oh, I just saw the show last night. Have you ever drifted before?
No. So what it was crazy about is that when I got hit up to do the show, it was literally like 3 weeks before I was gonna do this the show and fly me out to Rochester, compete in this crazy competition. I've never drifted before.
Did they ask you if you knew how to drift?
I had to kind of lie a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I can drive, I can drift, and it was like my occasional where we would mess around. Me and you have stories where I've scared you a little bit with my driving, so I was like, you know what, yeah, I could drift it, and plus it was a perfect showcase to showcase this car and see what it can do, and push it, and see what it's capable of, but with the setup that it had, it was more set up for a drag car.
How did the whole thing come about that you came to be on Hyperdrive?
So it was funny because obviously the car was getting a lot of popularity. I got hit up to do Super Street, Speed Hunters, a lot of social media, went to car shows, was getting a lot of hype for the car. It was one of the biggest builds I've done, and it was really popular. And they hit me up through social media. They hit me up through Facebook, I believe. And they hit me up and saying, oh, would you be interested in doing this show? And blah, blah. And at first I thought it was kind of fake, like, this is kind of real. That's my wife. And I think I asked you about it. I was like, I don't know if this is real. Like, they might want to, get my info. Or I thought if they, if everything went through, that, they're gonna come pick up my car. That it was like a scam. They're gonna steal my car, like a legit way to steal my car. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna come pick it up. We're gonna do a show. We're like, oh yeah, take the car. Then the car disappeared. But the whole team there, that hit me up was great. We did interviews, numerous interviews through, through Skype and all that stuff, and so it was just crazy to find that, after all that, I still didn't know I was gonna get in. I was like, no, they're still kind of up in the air. I was like, oh, if it happens, it happens. And then I got that call, and I was like, hey, so you're in. Like a week right before the show started. So they're like, okay, get your stuff ready. We're gonna pick up the car in a couple days, blah, blah, fly you out. And I was just like, whoa. So I was kind of up in the air where I didn't know even when I was gonna be on the show, so prep time with the car or doing any of that stuff was tough, and came to find out later, a lot of people knew maybe a year or more in advance about this show and what they were doing, that had maybe a little more time to prepare. But regardless of that, it was just amazing, all the people I met. Netflix, shout out to Netflix, for having me on there. It was a great experience. It doesn't take away, anything I went through in there, and the time I was in it, it was amazing.
So, I watched the clips all. I didn't see, anything besides you hitting that marker. Anything happened to the car out there when you were racing?
Yeah, so obviously we got a little bit of practice. You get to a little practice, get used to what you're going to be doing. And so obviously my sponsor Nitto, I had all the tires, the slick tires in the back, and so they're meant to grip. So once they warm up, they get sticky and they grip. So when I was doing practice runs and doing donuts, warming them up, and practicing on Lightbox, which is like a donut section, I broke them loose. I'm going doing donuts, go to the next one doing donuts, and the tire just acts different. It just grips, which sends me into the concrete barrier. So luckily, I don't have a bumper. I don't have, my intercooler is my bumper. So my intercooler took the blunt force of it and it bent in half, and I'll show you guys that. So I have that to show you. And obviously dings and dents from hitting targets, practicing the road chips coming off, and my car was kind of like a show. It's all show and nice, and everybody kept asking me like, oh man, are you gonna really, like, man, the car's so nice, are you sure you're gonna do this? And I was like, well, hey, I'm already here, so it was just great to just know that hey, I can fix it later. just not be worried about anything and just go hard on it, send it. And it was just an awesome experience to not have that in the back of my mind, because I'm always, I don't want to do this, I don't want to scratch it, but that's how, I was already there, like, who cares? And so luckily, my sponsor, having that intercooler, that was before I was up anyways. So my intercooler was bent in half, and so I had to get something. So luckily my sponsor, CX Racing, overnighted me a new intercooler. I took it off, welded the new tabs on there, and ready for the race, that I was coming up. So it was cool.
So how was it meeting all the other drivers? Because you were there for 3 weeks. How was it meeting all the drivers? You were there, night and day on set. How was it meeting all those guys?
It was everybody was really nice. Everybody from all walks of life, different part of the world, Poland, Germany, Brazil, South Africa, all over parts of the United States. They were just crazy. All the people was really nice, but like I said, the unity that we had was sharing the love for motorsports, and it just, everybody had a story, everybody, different walks of life, how they got into cars, but at the end, the one thing that unified us was the motorsports part of it.
So if you had another chance, and given a good amount of time, what car would you build and how would you build it?
I almost feel like the Datsun didn't get the love it should get, and what I would probably do is just take out the 4L60 automatic and put a T56 in there, manual, and set up the car to drift. Do a different tuning, change the suspension, different wheels and tire package, just something different. But utilize the same car because it has good bones to do all that. So it would be something unique that I can do for that.
You look good. You are good to go, Phil. All about speed.